and welcome to Bits. On tonight's show, we're exhuming Lady Lara once again as we take a peek at her crafty adventure, Tomb Raider Chronicles.
We get all grunty with the not-so-bitchy Dynasty Warriors 2.
And we've been developing our very own ultimate video gaming peripheral, which we'll be revealing at the end of the show. Brian, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
But first, here's Boof with the latest Bond incarnation, The World Is Not Enough.
The world is not enough, but hopefully the game might come close. Set to wipe clean those painful memories of Tomorrow Never Dies. This time, every gun, gizmo and girly is mixed together in a perfectly shaken, not stirred cocktail. But remember, you have a license to kill. Use it. One thing though, Bond, don't let your Johnson do all the talking for you. You can shoot your load as often as required, as long as you never miss. The World Is Not Enough, otherwise known as Twine to budding spy-hards with no time for chin-wagging, is putting you back into the shoes of the one and only James Bond. GoldenEye on the N64 has yet to be beaten as the definitive Bond experience. Tomorrow Never Dies went third person but failed miserably. Consequently, developers Black Ops let out a muffled and started all over again with Twine on the PlayStation. Eurocom are developing the game for the N64, and for gamers gagging for a bit of menage a four multiplayer action, head for the Nintendo version, because the PlayStation's got nout. He loves me not. He loves me, he loves me. Oh. The game follows the plot of the film closely, thanks to the MGM license and superb cutscenes, including the famous Millennium Dome boat chase, stoke up those drama stakes and take you across the oceans from Spain to London to Eastern Europe. Well, he always was a cunning linguist. It's the guns and gizmos that get us going, and the emphasis here is definitely on ruthless shooting and heavy weaponry. Of course, certain missions require you to go unarmed, which can leave you feeling a little naked. But with a wink to Q, this should pose no problem. Along with your cell phone for scanning data, night vision goggles, X-ray glasses, a safecracker, keypad decryptor, pen grenade and bomb diffuser among the many toys of the spy trade, this looks like a finely tuned game. Its medley of guns and gadgets are cleverly woven into the plot to vary the gameplay. Being alert at all times will get you far. In the skiing level, Bond effortlessly juggles his plethora of weaponry. Parachutists need sniping, while oncoming helicopters need rocket launching, while you need to look sexy. Hard work. This game looks like one suave, smug son of a gun. So grab yourself the nearest babe, slip into that smooth, sharp suit, cock your eyebrow and utter those magical, magical words. The name's Bond. James Bond. And just because we love you and we love James Bond, here's a little teaser to wet your lips with. It's 007 Racing. Mwah. The concept, simple. The potential, jaw-dropping. Take the best bit out of a Bond film, the cool cars, and ram them onto one of the most popular and accessible genres around, driving games. Next up, Emily and Alex take a look at what's hot in the world of gaming.
The PlayStation 2 was launched on Friday in the UK to rapturous silence. And then the crying began.
Sony's new Super Console caused a few tears to be shed when it became apparent that the many of you who placed your 25 quid on the local game shop counter to place your order for the next generation beast would have to go away empty-handed and broken-hearted.
The Uber Corporation underprovided the UK with the machine, claiming that things like the Tracy Island toy set and other electronic wonders of the Western world had usurped the high-end microchip that causes things like Tekken and Ridge Racer to play.
The PlayStation 2's not had much success in other markets around the world either. The US is still slinging mud at Sony for delivering 500,000 fewer consoles than expected when it launched in October. But the publicity machine still rolls on in the highest possible taste. Even schlock jock Howard Stern is gaining the extra few shekels for plugging the thing on his radio show.
If you're nice, he'll even give you one. But we expect you'll have to do something appropriately idiotic, like fart his name or eat a bowl full of toenail clippings before he'll part with them.
Tasteful, really.
But if you're one of the lucky few to get your hot little mitts on a PlayStation 2, then you might want to consider selling it on for an extortionate amount of money.
Taking your cue from some entrepreneurial Yanks, why not go online and auction it off to the highest bidder? One University of Florida student got rid of his and made $1,500.
Another rumour floating around is that another septic actually sold the website address, which had the Super Console in stock, for $600.
And even Sega are getting in on the PlayStation 2 backlash. Apparently, the Dreamcast has already outsold all of its previous records, which makes it now the #1 selling console on the planet.
Oh, time now for Alex to get her kit off in Dynasty Warriors 2.
Wow! The original Dynasty Warriors was a simple, sloppy, slapdash beat-em-up in the PlayStation with none of the finesse or the painstaking attention to detail of the kung fu movies it was based on. But they've added some plot and
fiddled with the vocal track.
dishing up a steaming order of fast as lightning Hong Kong Fooey is Dynasty Warriors number 2. Ooh, another session of fisticuffs for the PlayStation 2. Dynasty Warriors 2 doesn't offer the finesse of Tekken nor the drive to succeed found in something like Time Splitters, but it does have a couple of little gems to pad out your Sunday afternoon dim sum. On a 1-kilometer expanse of barren, brown, uninspiring land, you take control of an army of 998 men, a sumo wrestler, and one chick. You've got to get from point A to point B by kicking, punching, jumping, blocking, and waving some hula hoops around, crossing mace, arrow, and horse, with 2 other armies also determined that point B would make a lovely holiday destination for their 1,000 strong. Along for the ride is a selection of sound effects inspired by the tennis player Monica Seles. And music based on heavy guitar rock. Dynasty Warriors 2, I implore you. What are you? There are hundreds of people on screen at once, and admirably, it rarely affects the speed of the game. If you're particularly adept with your little fingers, you'll be able to cream upwards of 600 per level. But you're responsible for the bloodshed, so make your psychiatric appointment now. Although you're joined by an army of angry young people, your pals leave you to do all the dirty work while they sit around making cups of Chinese tea and developing toe rot. It's a beat-em-up. It's a strategy. It's a kung fu movie. In fact, it has elements of all 3. Dynasty Warriors 2 flew out of the past with a punch in the balls when the PlayStation 2 was released on Friday. But right now, let's take a look at this week's top 5.
Oh, awards are being flung at lovies and media halls left, right and centre, and have of recent times become the most highly entertaining honeypots of celebrity showdowns.
From Jarvis's fine display of buttage, to Judy Finnegan's copious display of cleavage, to Robbie and Liam's display of fistage, award ceremonies are the juiciest right now.
Well, we thought we'd jump on the bandwagon and give to you our top 5 style awards, the who's who of video gaming.
First up, the award for Best Vehicle goes to Wipeout on the PlayStation. It may not have any wheels, but hey, it hovers. You can drop mines. You can speed without getting a ticket. It goes really, really fast, and it looks cool.
Now, Style Awards would be incomplete without a little wallpaper. So the winner of Best Interior Design is Hitman on the PC. Every detail is beautifully ingrained, from the velveteen drapes to the glowing chandelier through to the Art Deco style padded elevator. Changing rooms eat your heart out.
And where would Bond be without Q, Michael without Kit, Doctor Who without K9? Behind every hero, there's a wee gadget helping him along the way. This award is for Most Excellent Gizmo. It's the Netrium battery-powered rollerblades and jet set radio. Steamy enough to grind your way through the urban jungle with complete control. Totally rad, dude.
The award for the best threads, the sharpest dresser, goes to none other than that chubby little fella with the pauntache and dungarees. Mario? Dungarees are on the cards for a comeback. Worryingly, we've reached that stage where the late 80s stroke early 90s infectious screeching of acid are upon us once again, apparently. According to Ems, anyway.
You gotta do what?
I gotta believe! And finally, the Bits Award for the best overall style guru goes to the virtual version of the real world's badly drawn boy. This time, he's a badly drawn dog, also with a tea cozy on his head. The one, the only, superfly hip-hop pup, Rapper the Rapper. He Simon Says'd his way into our hearts and onto our PlayStations when he uttered those poetic words of wisdom. Kick, punch, block, it's all in the mind. Aye, wicked!
And now it's time for Geek Watch, an update on our search for the UK's #1 big dork.
We've had hundreds of entries from potential spods, but we don't want no more.
The nomination period is over. If you still want to make a difference, then hit our Geek Watch page to peruse the final ballot.
And there you can vote for your favorite geek. The winner will receive a large gaming PC, but there's only 1 week left. After that, we're going to tally up all your entries and crown Mr. or Mrs. Geek UK.
You can also head over to our Geek Gallery, filled with the young hopefuls who don't have a chance of winning, but who we think should be made an example of anyway.
We do have news of one of our featured do-fi, however. You may remember the Gummy Wonder, also known as Toothless, when we featured him on the show a couple of weeks back.
Well, this is what he says. Dear Us, I just want to thank you so much for putting my toothless picture up on your Geek Watch map, and I was hoping that, if at all possible, you could rectify the mistake that I made on my entry form. When I said I didn't have a girlfriend, I was only writing that to make me sound sad and geeky. I do have a girlfriend, and I have been with her for over 1.5 years now, and she isn't talking to me because I have broadcast to the world that I'm single. She's seriously thinking of leaving me for someone else because she thinks that I want to be single. Please help me.
Pa! You'll get no sympathy here, son.
Yeah, nice try, Toothless, but it doesn't wash with us. You still smell like a liar.
You decide Toothless's fate. Go to 4later.com/bits.
While you're there voting for the most deserving geek, you can also nominate a computer game from the past, present, or future which you think should take the #1 slot in our top 50 games of all time chart.
Go on, tell us.
Get to it! And after the break, we'll be getting our lips around this. Coming up in part 2, we'll be digging up some of the best buys in this week's shop shelf.
But first, Emily gets her fingers dirty with Lara Croft in Tomb Raider Chronicles.
We are gathered here today to mourn the departure of gaming's first lady. She was a nubile wench with a fly set of moves, and will be greatly missed by the millions who enjoyed playing with and over her. Fortunately, she will not miss her customary Christmas outing, as developers Core have kindly kept her memory alive with a new game, Tomb Raider Chronicles. Yowza! Lara dead? I know Alex has been sticking pins into an effigy, but can this really be? Previously seen being buried under Egyptian rubble in the last revelation, and in the absence of a body, we must sadly assume that Mrs. Croft has passed away.
To the study, gentlemen, where we may pontificate over the day's disheartening events.
Indeed, my friend.
The game opens with Winston the butler, Jean-Yves, and Father Dunstan supping tea as they reminisce about Lady Lara and her amazing adventures. The Chronicles is made up of 4 adventures, as told by this motley crew. To ease yourself back into the Crofties' voluptuous moves, the first round is set in Rome.
Well, gol darn, ain't she just a picture?
Ah, the charming Mr. Larson.
This is typical Tomb Raider action. Elegant surroundings with a plethora of levers to push and pull, buildings to climb, and of course the obligatory keys to find. 2 of Lara's old friends have returned, comedy duo Pierre and Larson, with their usual bullet-dodging action. Next up, Lara puts on a new camo outfit and delves into the murky world of a German U-boat base. Action-packed from the start, you'll have to be an accomplished mover and shaker to get past the first level.
The plinth inscription warns of vengeance on those who remove it.
If young Lara pulled your heartstrings and caused you to pull other things too, you'll be pleased to know that the third adventure also features the Bambina. She has snuck onto the Black Isle, unarmed and intent on exploration, facing ghosts and ghouls and relying entirely on her mental powers and lithe little body. The last adventure is told by Von Croy himself. How he must have laughed remembering back to Lara breaking into his ultra-high-tech building to steal all his stuff. Cheeky little minx. Ho, ho, ho. You have to hand it to the developers, though. They realised that bringing out another expansion pack style game would ultimately destroy their most profitable brand. Something had to snap, and it looks like it was Lara's neck. But was it? Would Core really kill off their biggest cash cow just as a film went into production? Highly unlikely. In fact, Lara's adventures do continue on the next-gen consoles. Apparently, being stuck under some ancient rubble has given her pause for thought. Lara will reappear in a new incarnation with a darker and decidedly more mature feel. Does this mean that she'll lose her memory and become a cheap tart, touting her not inconsiderable curves around Egypt to survive? She might even awake from this horrific dream and find herself next to Bobby Ewing. The possibilities are endless. All that is certain is that Lara will be back in time for Christmas next year. In the meantime, you can buy Tomb Raider Chronicles for your PC, Dreamcast or PlayStation right now. Oh. Hello, can I speak to my agent, please? Time for this week's Dirty Shop Shelf.
Don the pointed ears and start speaking in tongues. Another Star Trek game is on the shop shelves, ready to take a Klingon copper or two from fanatics of the series. Deep Space Nine, The Fallen, is brooding, deep and filled with alien life forms. How unusual.
What tailpipe-loving speed freak could live without 24 hours of virtual driving? Well, now the PlayStation crew aren't the only antisocial bastards out there circling the tracks endlessly. Dreamcast owners now have the chance to put the pedal to the metal and use a portaloo in the back seat. It's super le mont 24 heures.
With the launch of the PlayStation 2 comes the console's first football game, International Superstar Soccer, or ISS to its friends, updated for the next generation. Of course, it looks sleek and plays cleverly. And who could resist getting those hunks of footy meat into their hungry hands?
Number 4 in the classic beat-em-up series is Tekken Tag Tournament. All the usual suspects have gathered together for one reason, and that reason is to kick the shit out of one another. Again.
And a teeny plug for the weenie Game Boy. It's cannon fodder on the minute silver screen. This military hush-em-up is a classic port for a modern-day audience of conspiracy theorists and government non-believers. Watch out, 007. Mr. Fodder's right behind you.
Are you finding your gaming experience less than fulfilling?
Ugh, boring.
And want something a little bit more immersive?
Yes, please!
But don't want to shove yourself into a virtual bodysuit for fear that people will think you're a perv? Well, this is the answer to your wildest dreams.
For over a year, we've been testing and doing the market research, and we've created the ultimate peripheral masterpiece for your pleasure.
It does it all, so plug in and strap on with the machine.
Testing the machine for the first time is our human lab rat, Brian.
So what has this baby got to offer?
Well, Brian, when an addictive game takes control of your life, bodily functions take a back seat.
Your stomach is growling, your buttocks are aching, and your tongue is getting fluffier by the second, but you just can't tear yourself away.
What to do?
Well, we've designed this ergonomic cup holder for easy access oral refreshment, this fantastically handy telephone for instant pizza ordering, and of course, this handy sanitary device for all your bodily emissions.
Okay, shooting games, lots of blood and carnage, but somehow you never feel completely involved. Pourquoi? No pain, no gain.
So we've concocted the ultimate shotgun simulator.
We've got electrodes that emit shocks when you take a hit, some blood for realism, and of course, some goo for games from outer space.
Next up is our meteorological enhancer. To really submerge yourself in a game, you need to feel the elements. To that end, we've created a series of artificial weather conditions that will really blow your socks off.
We've got rain, wind, and snow.
Making sure you really feel at one with nature.
Driving games, all too easy to feel like you're taking a Sunday stroll through a virtual world.
No more. It's time to get real with the rallies with this ultra-authentic, stagnant mudslinger.
And finally, it's that all-important victory moment.
It just doesn't seem right to have the screen filled with fireworks and plinky-plonky music after all that effort. So we've come up with our own triumphant celebrations.
Only champers, a cigar, and party poppers. Popped by imaginary friends will do, seeing as all your real mates forgot about you a long time ago.
So there you have it, the ultimate gaming peripheral for all your wants. You need never get off your couch again or interact with the human race.
Remember though, sitting in one place for prolonged periods may lead to piles, bed sores, and an arse like an airbag.
But it's time now for the competition.
So, what's on offer tonight then, Emily?
Well, Booth, tonight you can win a year's free subscription to the magazine PC Zone, and that's for 25 lucky winners.
All you have to do is answer this ridiculously random question.
We've had the football sim, the racing sim, even the pizza delivery sim. It seems that every aspect of our lives has been emulated by interactive entertainment, except, of course, for the all-star stripping sim. Oh yes. What we want you to do is come up with 2 teams of 3 strippers, 1 male team and 1 female team to compete in this sexy computer game. Catch is, you can't use people from real life. They must all be existing video game characters.
Like Pac-Man.
Yep, and the best idea is scoop the loot.
Send your answers in via our website at www.4later.com/picks.